All right, welcome back to another episode of Coaching Caffeine and Comedy, and I'm your host, Haley Kobza.
And your co-host, Lena Coble.
Today is going to be a fabulous adventure with two characters that I'll let Lena kind of go into more detail about. But I'm going to say before we get going with these two, let's take all the children out of the car, work on those earmuffs, and remember, we don't edit here. Okay, Lena.
Yeah, a little quick Hail Mary and just let it all out because these two great guys, they've done a lot for the community, important employees at McCook Community College, Jeff Holthus and Scott Smalley.
Oh, gosh, I can't wait to... And they're so adorable. I wish we had them on film. They have matching shirts on.
They do.
They're so cute. They're so cute.
They are in with the black and gray polos, but they're the opposite of, and they're so excited to be here. Their smiles are just beaming right now.
It's adorable.
Yes.
So everybody sit back, enjoy the ride, and let's meet these two. Okay, so here we go. Lena, you already kind of talked about these two guys. Do you want to just go ahead and introduce them all to our fellow listeners?
We have Jeff Holthus and Scott Smalley in the room today, and let me tell you, it's not just hot because they're here, but it's also hot because the AC is not working right now. So, ladies, pull the headphones on and enjoy. These two have coached together for a long time. There's a lot we don't know about them, so it's going to be a fun afternoon in the studio with Scott and Jeff.
You guys usually like to say welcome now or something. Like, hi.
Welcome.
Oh, that was
their level of enthusiasm is just,
so
it's contagious.
good.
It's contagious.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
So you two, before we get going, we always like to do a warm-up. Have you guys listened to our podcast before?
Once.
One time.
One time. Oh,
Yep.
was that the one with Lena? That's when I became famous.
Yeah, she killed it.
She did. She's great.
Was the AC running then?
No.
I
But
got bored. I shut it off after 30 minutes.
We have to say, once again, take the kids out of the room.
Yes.
These two are not too good at warm-ups, if you know what I mean, ladies. But we're going to let them have the mic anyways. It could be the shortest podcast we've ever had. I don't
Straight
know.
to the point.
I don't know how long they
Skip
can
the
work,
warm-ups.
if you know what I mean.
And I know, you guys, this is really odd, but you're going to have to scoot just a little bit closer to the mic. But there you go.
Squeeze
There
it
you go.
to the black stick.
Now you two
Lean in.
kiss.
Okay, so this warm-up we're going to do, this is the first time we've ever done it, and I thought it'd be really good for you two. Even though, I don't know you well, I feel like this will be really good. So it's going to be a fill in the blank. Jeff, you can be the first one. So we'll just go every other one. And it's fill in the blank lyric style.
Okay.
Okay?
Are you singing them?
I'm just going to say it like I'm a poet, and then you're going to fill in the blank.
All right.
Okay? If you don't know these songs, that kind of just helps me know you better. All right, ready?
Ready.
No more rats, no more...
Cats.
Nailed it.
Sorry. No. But oh my gosh. Oh boy.
That was so awesome.
Jeff, do you know that one? Or Scott? Jeez Louise.
No, I don't know
They
that
look
one.
a lot alike.
They
in their
do.
matching polos.
I
Hard to
know.
tell
In their
apart, right?
same stance. Okay, so the fill in the blank for that one was actually Roaches, and that's by Afro Man.
Boy, that's old.
Oh gosh. All right,
Did
Scott.
Lena put this together?
Yes, best of the early
You can do
80s
this
and
one. This one's for Scott.
You ready, Scott?
I'm ready.
Players only love you when you're...
Playing.
Ooh, good
Is
job.
that right?
That is right.
It sounded right.
Yeah.
Good job.
Yeah.
1
Excellent.
point.
That was your basically lyric. Okay, Jeff. It's really hard to read these and not sing them.
Yeah.
Sing them.
3:30 in the morning, not a... Yeah. 3:30 in the morning, not a...
Not a soul in sight.
Good.
Oh.
Good.
Garth.
Gosh. Oh, yeah. I mean, we all
That's
mouthed
close.
it, but
Garth.
yeah.
See, if you sing it, it's a lot easier.
Oh. Well.
Okay, sing this one, please.
Lena, please sing.
If you like pina coladas and getting...
Drunk in the rain.
I think
No, it's
Yes.
caught.
Yes.
Caught.
No,
Drunk.
Drunk is the next one. Verse 3.
Verse 3. Okay. All right, Jeff again. Yeah, we fancy like.
Yeah, we fancy like.
Yeah, we fancy like...
No clue.
Okay. Applebee's on a date night. Walker Hayes. It's a newer song.
Anyone can see
Terrible.
his face right
I
now.
know.
No
He
idea.
like. Have you heard this
You don't
song?
coach 1200 softball, so
Okay.
you don't know.
Are you
It's
on
a terrible
TikTok?
song.
No, I don't do
Terrible.
TikTok.
Oh, okay.
You got any 80s hip hop? Early hip hop?
Well, that's like the only new song I had on
Oh,
here,
okay.
so this is good.
Bye bye, Miss.
American Pie.
Good. Okay. Whoa, Black Betty.
Bam Bam.
Boom.
That's a good one.
That is a good one. That's a
did
good
good,
song.
yeah.
I thought it was just in there. That was pretty good.
Yeah.
Oh, this is a good prom.
Yeah, it's good.
This is a good prom song.
Prom?
No, this one's you. You and
I
Scott.
didn't
yeah.
go.
I'm
The
out.
walls were shaking. The earth was quaking.
You just gave the word.
I did. Oh,
That sounds like
You
after
butchered
prom.
it.
yeah, I did give the word.
It's okay.
Whoops, the
I don't
walls-
even know what it is.
Sing it again. Do it again.
The walls were shaking. The earth was.
Quaking. Is what
Quaking.
I
Oh,
said.
Yeah, okay,
Well, I
good,
figured I
good,
had to give
good,
you
yeah.
one.
Yeah.
because-
Okay.
True.
Last one.
Oh.
Plenty of room at the hotel.
Hotel California.
Good.
Whoa.
Gosh. Oh, look at that.
I mean, come
Oh
on.
my
keep 'em
gosh.
coming.
that was good.
That's good.
That's all you
Yeah.
girls
Done.
got?
That's it.
Yeah, it's not all we got, but that's all we're giving you right now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Are you guys warmed up now? Okay, good. Great.
Yeah.
Okay.
83 in here.
Yeah.
106.
I'm glad we all wore gray besides Lena.
Let me wring my hat out.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so let's start with Scott. Scott Smalley. We'll start from the beginning and then we'll just move to where you guys are now. So where were you born and raised?
I was born in Hastings, but I was raised in McCook.
Oh,
I
really?
moved here when I was 2. Did you get that?
Yeah, I got that. I got that.
So what else did you know? That's all you asked.
No, that's. Oh no. I was just.
Okay.
Lena was. I think she was giving you a sign to get closer to the mic.
Yeah,
It's okay.
sorry.
So
Jeff's whiskers were tickling me.
oh my gosh. So I'm assuming you played football here,
Till my senior year, yeah.
and then why didn't you play football? Football's a big thing for McCook, so that's the only reason I'm asking you.
I don't really have a good excuse why. Just didn't.
Okay.
Played baseball. More
Played
important
baseball.
to me at that time.
So after McCook, you played baseball, and then you became a collegiate athlete. Am I correct? This is just what I've heard through the grapevine.
Yeah, short term.
Short term. Where did you go after McCook? Like, where did you go to
I-
college?
Well, I redshirted at MCC, then I transferred to Hastings
Okay.
and hated it.
And
Came
hated-
home.
and came home.
finished my degree at MCC.
Why did you not like it?
There's a lot to that, but it being, again, kind of they had JV and varsity, and it was not really all that competitive. It was more of a political type atmosphere.
So you were in college? Did you get a degree?
I did
only
get a
ask
degree.
this because I feel like you.
Well,
I'm gonna let Lena take over now.
Women and booze.
that's the new podcast.
With you two.
I don't know where we at.
What
were we
did you
talking-
do
Did I get a degree? Yeah, I got a degree.
We're at from Hastings or where?
No, from McCook when I came back. I came back, so I went when I was here and I was playing ball. I just went general studies. Could have cared less. Didn't care about school. Period. And then when I came back, that's when I went into the welding machine shop technology program.
So then, where did you go after McCook?
UNL.
And you finished. You went. To
I have
school?
my teaching degree from UNL. Yeah.
Okay. Did you do any teaching? Like
yeah.
in like high school, or I mean, we all know you're at
For
college.
3 years at Malcolm after I graduated. I student taught at Lincoln North Star and then taught at Malcolm, which is kind of a crazy story, but.
Well, what's that story?
Well, I graduated a semester with my teaching certificate, and obviously teachers graduating at semester, you don't get jobs until contracts aren't renewed, usually till March or April. So I literally picked like 75-mile radius of Lincoln and hand-delivered my application and resume to every school possible and worked my way in. And Malcolm's only about 12 miles, so it was one of my last stops. And I actually fired their industrial tech teacher in November for some inappropriate contact with students.
Oh.
So I was asked if I could start after Christmas break and said, sure, I'll be here. So I got lucky.
That's
really.
crazy.
But yeah, I taught there for 3 years and then came back here.
So, like, looking back now, do you wish you had taken, because you was more than you like baseball, because you went to continue to do that. Do you
Yeah.
wish you would have took that a little bit more serious and maybe went somewhere else? Or are you one of those people like, you know what, the past is the past, it's got me to where I am today?
I loved it, and I wanted that experience at the college level, but then again, even after like a year and going through it and realizing the time commitment and everything, I kind of just got tired of it. Like, I didn't really care. So I suppose then, looking back, I probably regretted it. Now, I don't. I mean, again, sports aren't really everything. So I feel like I've gotten a lot more out of the things that I did and changed when I came back than I probably did for college baseball. Now, high school baseball and playing in the summer, like, those are some of my best memories I've ever had. So, I mean, I wouldn't trade those for anything, but college-wise, it's not. I don't regret the decisions I made, I guess.
I like it. All right, Lena, you want to ask Holthus some questions?
Bring it.
Mr. Holthus.
Bring it.
Tell us
Wait,
about
sorry. You're saying, is it like a Holth or Holthus? Is it H silent?
Silent.
Oh, so I've been adding that.
Holthus.
Holt. Okay. All right. Continue.
Some
Sorry.
people say Holthouse, but
Oh.
that's
oh.
not even close.
They
Yeah.
sound interesting.
No.
Don't be one of those
They
people.
just, those are people I want to know. I want to get to know them. So give us the breakdown, Mr. Holthus.
Breakdown.
Yes.
Born and raised.
Born and raised, McCook, Nebraska.
Oh my. Wait. Are you guys like buddies? Like from high school?
He was 2 years older than me.
I can see
Yep.
it now. Okay. Continue.
Really?
Yep. Born and
two?
raised in
Only
McCook.
two? Really? Okay. Go ahead.
Born and raised in McCook. Basically did football, basketball till my sophomore year, track, baseball. Pretty intense sports-wise, active as a kid. Won a state championship in football. Baseball, state runner-up, 16-year-old year, and then we got third place when I was a senior. Baseball's probably the biggest part of my life. But in terms of like athletics and everything, like both of us grew up in a time where whatever sport was in season, that's what you did, you know, and that was really important. You know, I didn't really, I say that baseball was probably my number one love, but like when football was going on, that's what I was doing. Baseball was secondary. You know, when track was going on, everything else was secondary. And so then after high school, went on to JUCO, played JUCO baseball at Independence Community College. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Last Chance U.
Sounds so familiar. Okay.
It's a newer show. It wasn't back in the 80s or anything.
Okay. Hurtful. That was a knife in the old heart.
I went there for 2 years. J.O., Coach Olson, was actually there when I was there. He was my high school coach for a couple years, and then he went to Independence. Jayhawk Conference, really competitive conference. Loved it. Freshman year was obviously a little bit different. You know how it is. A little bit homesick and stuff like that, but met some of my best friends ever there. And then sophomore year was just a blast, you know. Again, very competitive baseball. Met a lot of good friends there. Loved it. Other than the humidity there was like 80% humidity every day, and it rained. Completely opposite of McCook. It rained all the time. And so, kind of piggyback off Scott a little bit, practice schedules were just a grind. I mean, it was like 2 to 6 every night. Completely different than, the high school gig. You play with your best friends the entire time growing up there and loved every second of it. And then you go to the collegiate level, and it's just a little bit different.
I'm jumping in. Were you guys position players or pitchers?
I was a position player, outfielder.
What about you, Scott?
Position player as well.
Yeah.
infielders.
High
like-
school, I pitched.
Yeah, you guys
and I
are great.
taught,
Yeah, and you like
then-
know everybody. I feel like at the college level though, it's like this group and this group.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like
Yep.
if I ever see a student, I'm like, hey, did you see so and so? And he's like, who is that? And I'm like, he's on your team.
Right.
He's like, oh, he must be a pitcher.
Right.
Continue.
After that, after those 2 years, I debated, kicked it around. I was going to play baseball at UNK and decided not to. I was kind of ready for the next stage of just trying to figure out what the hell I was going to do with my life, and kind of got into the party scene as well, and just kind of wanted to go that route. I was kind of just over the whole grind of everything and the practice schedule and the classes and everything. So I went to UNK, and I was going into respiratory therapy, actually, my first semester at UNK, and I was in a chemistry class, and I said, see ya.
It's
Like,
been there.
brutal.
Yeah, been there.
Yeah, same. I
Yeah.
wanted to be a nurse until
Yep.
biology.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it was like a foreign language to me.
Chemistry was foreign language.
So I just bounced out of that and changed my major. Got into park and rec and natural resources and graduated with my degree from there. Actually worked, I've been kind of all over the place. I worked for the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service while I was in Kearney. It was kind of wildlife management, natural resources, park and rec. Did that for a couple years. When I started doing that in Kearney, loved everything about it, but it took me away from the role of coaching. So I really hated that because I coached Legion Baseball in McCook my freshman and sophomore year at college, is kind of when it first started. Came back from Indy, coached those 2 years, and then went back. And then I coached baseball in Kearney for about 7 years as well. So that was kind of one of the areas for me where I just said, hey, I missed the coaching aspect. I went back to school to get my teaching credentials from UNK and my coaching endorsement. Got that, continued coaching baseball in Kearney while I was there. Had a student taught out at Lincoln East for 8 weeks, and then a middle school in Lincoln called SCO Middle School for 8 weeks, and then I landed a job back here in McCook. That would have been in 2012. I was at the public schools for 7 years before I went over to the college, which would have been about 3 years ago now. So yeah, I mean, it's been a roller coaster. It's, I wouldn't really change anything, to be honest with you.
And Scott, how long have you been at the college?
13 years.
Yeah.
And-
Oh, sorry.
Well, this will be my 13th. 12.
So for those of you guys that don't know, these two yahoos, they work together. So like we have a welding program at our college, and these two are basically A and B, and they run the whole place. I don't know which one's A or which one's B, but
Probably depends on the day and the night they had before, I'm guessing.
it's so okay. Question.
And when you say run the whole place, you mean like the college, not just the welding program. Because we do
I've
a
never
pretty good job
seen
at
you
that,
over.
too.
I never have seen you guys at the college unless we have a meeting.
That's why, because
Yeah, and I'm like, who are those men?
Okay, so you
Fall enrichment, it's my favorite day.
everybody's favorite day. Having been there, it's good time. There's always good snacks.
See you the first Friday of September.
So you guys work together, and how long did you coach together prior? Did you guys coach Legion together?
Yes,
How long?
Wait, baseball or softball?
5 years.
baseball.
Okay.
Baseball. So when I came back to McCook, I coached varsity football, junior high track, and then I started junior Bs, so the lowest division in terms of Legion baseball. I coached that with a good friend of mine, Jared Muhlenkamp, which, by the way, he'd be another good one to have in here. No
Yeah.
kidding.
He would, yeah.
I'll write him.
So him and I coached together for 3 or 4 seasons. Had a great time. Had a great group of kids. They bought into everything that we were teaching them and how we coached. And then J Rod took over a business, and he had to kind of take a step back a little bit too. And at the same time,
J Rod.
one of the other coaches, one of the seniors coaches, was kind of transitioning out. So Scott asked me if, hey, you want to come coach the seniors? And like I was all on board with it because all the kids that I had were going to be getting to the seniors and juniors level eventually as well. So that's kind of where it took off then from there.
What are your best memories coaching together?
You want to go first?
Well, the number one is probably the 2018 state tournament when we beat Bennington 1-0. That's the craziest baseball game I've ever played in or coached
Wait, so
in.
this was like
in my
recent.
life.
Like you
Yeah.
guys have coached together recently.
Yeah, this is what.
This is only the second year we haven't coached
Oh,
together.
okay. Okay, we'll get into that. Continue.
But yeah, I mean that's what from the coaching standpoint, that's the game that stands out the most. I mean, there's probably a lot. I would say that again. I mean, when I moved back, I started coaching at the juniors level, and then I moved up after 2 years to help at the seniors level. And 6 out of the 7 years that I was there, we made it to a state tournament. So we won our district every year that we were involved in the league. We won the league. Like, we had a ton of success. And again, it wasn't because of me and coaching. We had great athletes. We had the best athletes in McCook playing the sport. So again, I think, I can't single out as far as, 1 year versus the other. We had a great opportunity in 2016 to make a run at a state title. We were playing in Plattsmouth, and that was the year before I asked Jeff to move up and help us. And we won our first 2 games, and we were sitting pretty good, and then we kind of just laid an egg and came out, and we actually got 4th. But that was, that one stands out a lot too because, we were right there. We were within 2 runs, really within a few pitches of being in position to play for a state title. So that one still eats at me a little bit. But as far as us coaching together, I'd say every season was a blast.
Oh, what's up?
I would say that the 1-0 Bennington game was intense. I mean, very, very intense all the way to the very last out. The other thing that stands out to me would be the 2017 Hayes tournament. We go down to this Hayes tournament. It's called the Wild West Fest. It's during the 4th of July. It's all wood bat. It's basically your cream of your crop, like Kansas and Nebraska and Colorado teams. And we won a bunch of 1-run games and made it all the way to the finals and won the whole tournament. And that is basically, if you could take a Class B state tournament, it would be the equivalent of that, if not maybe a little bit better, based off of the quality of competition and coaching and everything. And when we won that one, and again, all the credit goes to the kids because the kids, they did it all. We could only, coach so much, but the kids took care of business. And winning that tournament was, every game was 8-7 game, 6-5 game, extra inning game, and we just found a way to come out on top, and that was a very, very exciting weekend as well. So I would definitely say those 2 instances were the best ones that I can think of.
How many years combined do you guys both have of coaching?
Baseball?
Yeah.
Combined, so you guys have to
Yeah, you have to do some simple
do some
math.
math.
I'm at 17.
That's what I'm at. 17, so 34.
So you guys
17
are the
years.
knowledge we have in here.
Yeah, you guys are young guys, and that's a lot of time when you're single,
Yeah.
but you guys now are married, you have kids. That's a lot of time away from your families. What do you think has been the biggest change you saw in your time as coaches for baseball? Like, whatever it was about the sport, the speed of the sport, the parents, the attitudes, discipline, respect.
Both of their nonverbals right now.
Yeah.
We got one shaking his head, the other one
What?
has a smirk.
You could just say yes to all those because
All
that's
the above.
all changed.
Explain that for us that don't coach baseball and aren't in the thick of that.
I don't even think it has to be baseball. It could be any sport. I think I had this conversation the other day with Scott, and I've had it with a few other people. I would say today, coaching has to be one of the toughest jobs that anybody could have or try to take on, no matter what level you're talking about. Because, everything's just changed so much that there's always people that aren't happy. We, like you just said, we put a ton of time into this, along with all the kids as well. So you try to coach these kids up and be a little bit hard on them because inevitable that life is gonna be hard on them as well. So the parents have changed. I've had a really good run of parents have been really good and really supportive, and then you've had some parents that have been on the other end of that too, and it can kind of be a cancer a little bit as well. I always say too, in terms of like kids' roles on the team, like sometimes the kids are A-okay with the role that they have on the team, but mom and dad aren't okay with it. And that is probably one of the toughest things to deal with in terms of coaching. So
This is kind of off topic, but I was just thinking, McCook High School doesn't have baseball, right?
No.
But they have softball?
Yes.
Isn't that, why is that? Or like, is baseball like a thing in high school in Nebraska? I'm from Nebraska. I just think, I'm like, what
yeah.
school do I know that has baseball?
Yeah, they just really don't have it west of Kearney.
because of travel.
So do you think that's a problem with players like going collegiate wise, or is it fine because like your juniors and seniors kind of make up for that?
Yeah, I mean, you could be if you want to go play college baseball somewhere. I mean, just because we don't have high school baseball, like you can be seen.
Right.
I mean, you can show your talents and throughout the schedule, and you know, us coaches can contact certain other coaches to set up. You know, if we're in Hayes and say, hey, we got these kids, you need to check them out, and we've had that happen before too. So the exposure is there if you want to put the time in and you want to do it.
I would say that kind of falls into what you just asked about what's changed in the game too. Like now there's more of an emphasis on exposure. So there's to a point now where it's almost like there's an overexposure because everybody wants to be a part of it. Everybody has to travel to be a part of it, and then we have to do it year round. So again, it takes away from all the other sports. So, and I would be. Yes, I think high school baseball would be a great thing, but I also wouldn't want it to take away from the history and success of our track program. So I don't know. If that was put to a vote, I'd have a hard time deciding which way I would want that to go. Because, again, I hate to see, going back to what Jeff said clear back in the beginning about whatever's in season, those kids should be playing that sport. We don't have enough kids out here in the sticks to make sure that we can just have baseball players and just have football players and tennis players and whatever else. We don't have enough kids to do it, so we just need them to be involved in everything.
We can't have in McCook. We can't have kids specialize. We have to, as coaches. I still call myself a coach, but as coaches, we have to find a way to support each other. And I'm saying every single sport needs to be encouraging. You need to be doing track. You need to be doing volleyball. You need to be doing golf. Like whatever it is, like just have to encourage. And instead, right now, kind of the scenario that you get now is coaches are like battling for kids almost. So you're trying to pull a kid this direction. Well, it's in season. This sport's in season, and they need to be focusing on that. So it's really we're not doing a very good service to our kids. We need to be encouraging more multi-sport kids instead of just specialized stuff.
How did you guys encourage that when you were baseball coaches, but they probably were still in high school track season? Or when did you start your season? How did you guys handle that?
We pretty much had to have those conversations with the other coaches. I mean, it's, again, going back to what Jeff said, you all have to be on the same page. If you're going to share athletes, you have to be honest and you have to stick to it. So, you know, the conversations that we had with Coach Sugar was we wanted kids to show up and play catch. If they could just show up and play catch, that's fine. And then he had to trust that that's exactly what was going on. So he'd question the athletes, and they'd say, yes, we showed up, we played catch, we left. So, I mean, we made it work. And, again, that's just kind of what we have to do. So we're all on the same page.
So do you guys coach right now, or you guys just living life?
I am not coaching. My son will start T-ball next year, so I'll kind of start getting back into the flow of things next year. But right now, I'm not coaching at all. I mean, I've been to a ton of games, basketball, baseball, you know, whatever. I miss it a lot. But for me, stepping away after coaching 17 summers in a row, That's a lot of games. That's a lot of time. For me, having a 5-year-old and a 2-year-old and a wife, like, it was a pretty easy decision for me to kind of take a step back and just I didn't want to miss those times with my kids and my family, because I knew as they get older, I'm going to have those experiences again.
Scott, what about you?
I have the pleasure of coaching my daughter's 12 and under Rebels softball team currently, and then I just coach my son's team at Felling in baseball.
What's the biggest difference going from coaching teenage boys to teenage girls? And you can be honest, because obviously I have 3 teenage girls, so I kind of need, well, they're not teenagers. They will be at some point, but.
Well, the obvious one is that we're talking about girls, not boys. You can't yell at them because they will cry. They don't. There's a few that have the attitudes where you can yell at them and then they just get pissed, which is fine. You like to see that competitive edge that they have. But for the most part, you kind of have to watch what you say.
Sorry.
How do you do
I'm
that?
just so confused
I know.
because, like, out of both of you, I'm like, he'd be really good, but Scott.
Yeah, no.
Scott's actually like a teddy bear.
Really?
With really foul language. I mean, he's kind of like that teddy bear. When you pull the string, it's going to be F-hers and G-deers and a whole lot of bad things, but he's still a squishy little teddy
I
bear.
just want to see, like, the conversations, like, after a practice, like, of some little girl, oh, Mom, you should have heard what Coach Scott said today.
Well, to be honest, that's another little bit of a drawback. You do have to watch what you say because, yeah, it's easy to want to cuss when we can't play catch in the infield, basically, to get outs. But, yeah, it's a challenge at times to be able to watch what you
Softballs
have
are
to
bigger
say.
than baseball. It's harder. It's a different game.
Yeah, okay.
I'll be honest with you, like, not to interrupt or anything, but like what you just said, Cobes, of saying something in the huddle or after a game or whatever, like, everything gets taken home. Mm-hmm. So, like, you could be doing the greatest coaching ever, like trying to motivate your kids and your group, and one person doesn't like what you said, or you use a GD or an F or whatever it is, and they take that home.
And then they're praying about you at church in
Yeah.
a prayer card.
It doesn't come to this home.
It's
because
unreal.
I 100% respect a coach and the time, and that's like, I think we're gonna get to that, but you don't understand until you're on the other side of it.
Right.
The emotions, the intensity, like everything that comes out in those moments. So
Right.
I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
That's why Jake hung that sign by the front door that says, "Leave that shit outside."
My name's Jake.
My name's Jake. He'll be so excited.
Poor guy.
So,
Too bad I wasn't live. I guarantee he's listening right now.
oh yeah, he is. He's pulled over on a country road somewhere.
Anyway,
So explain that a little bit more, because we were talking about all your experience, everything you have been able to do together, but then individually, and we're talking about the things that like have changed the sport and some of the things that you just said. How can we make it better for kids?
As parents.
Thank you.
Because they should all be listening.
Yeah.
I think that you support them as much as you can. Obviously they're your kids, but like understand that they need people other than their parents to be a little bit hard on them as well. I mean,
Say it louder for the Karens in the back.
what's that?
Preach.
They do. They need people to be hard on them because, let's face it, I mean, at some point, whether it's academics or athletics or whatever, like, life will hit you in the face. Whether it's slapped or punched or whatever, like, it's going to hit you in the face. And, like, if you can teach some of those lessons in athletics before that happens later on, I think kids, you do a service to some kids, because then they know how to handle certain situations and handle adversity. Like, okay, you didn't start this game because you booted 3 balls at second base or shortstop or whatever, so we're going to try someone else. Well, who cares? Like, battle through that adversity, and the next time you get a shot, then take advantage of your shot. So I can talk about this stuff all day.
the other thing that along those same lines is making the kids communicate with the coach. Especially the day and age that we live in right now, everybody wants to hide behind a screen. So, like, kids today, it's obviously easier to text or even probably make a phone call than it is face-to-face. But force them to have a face-to-face conversation with, if they bring it home and they're upset about whatever happened, that the parent turns around and says, well, have you talked to the coach yet? Make the athlete talk to the coach before parent ever gets involved, because usually that's going to stop it, and everybody will be happy in the end if that happens.
Do either of you have a memorable moment where a parent came to you?
I've got plenty.
If you
Could you? Yeah, I know. Could you please tell us about it? It's part of the deal.
I'm just trying to think of which one.
I was going to say,
There's been plenty.
there's multiple times I've wanted to hit parents with my fungo as they approach me after a game, just screaming mad. Now, along those same lines, though, and I make it sound really, really bad, but my philosophy always was as a coach, and I told parents at the parent meeting at the beginning of the year, I always had a 24-hour rule. So if you approached me before 24 hours after whatever you were mad about, we knew the conversation wasn't going to be good. So I tried to force parents to wait 24 hours, see how they felt about it after that, and then if they wanted to set up a meeting, we could sit and talk about it, whatever. But obviously, in the heat of the battle, there was multiple times that was abused. I even had a parent at one point when I was back here, I think I was still coaching juniors at the time, that tried to get me fired by hand-delivering notes to every Legion board member, basically asking me to resign because I was hazing.
They must not have a lot of time on their hands.
Yeah. So, yeah,
Wait,
that was memorable.
What did they say you were doing?
Well, again, so long story short, like Jeff said, kid didn't play so well, and she decided to chew my ass after the game. And then the next day at practice, my rule was if you had, for however many walks you had in the game as a pitcher, you had to run a pole or a bow or whatever for extra conditioning, to try to learn from your mistake, think about what you did. So we did that. Then it was really hot. Kid decided to take his shirt off. Mom drives by and sees her kid, the only one who pitched in the game, running in the outfield. So that was her definition of me hazing him. In her letter that she typed, and then so 2 days following, then I think it was a Friday, she literally drove around to deliver these notes to every board member to get me fired.
And approximately how many hours in a season would you spend away from your families?
Yeah.
I don't know. Text my wife. She probably has it written down somewhere.
Tallies.
She would. Kayla, pull up the calendar. We need some.
A lot.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, it got to a point coaching-wise, like, I spent so much more time with other people's kids than my own. You know, when I was still at the public schools, like I said, I coached varsity football, and, like, you want to talk about a taxing job. Like, we put so many hours into that. Like, coaches met on Sundays for 5 or 6 hours to prep and to script plays for the following week's practices, and you know, the long bus trips and everything. And you know, if you want a team to be really successful, you got to coach them like that too, and you have to have them prepared, I guess, is the biggest thing for anything and everything. And I feel like we did a really good job of that football wise. But where I was going with this, football season was long, and I got the winter season off, but then I would coach junior high track, which junior high track would be, I would teach from 7 till 3:30. Junior high track would be from 3:30 to 5:45 or 6 o'clock. Then I would have about an hour and a half, and we'd have baseball practice from 8 to 10. So like, I was never home, you know, and like I'm involved in some other things too. So like if I had meetings or something the next morning, again, I would be up and out of the door, and my wife was just there to fend for the kids. And again, like you said before, when you're single and like you don't have a family, no big deal. You live for that, but you know, things change as you start to have a family. So a ton. I mean, so many hours that, again, if you tried to figure it out an hourly wage, you wouldn't want to figure it out.
So like for me, that's like one of the deals. Like when I'm coaching, yeah, the hourly wage, and then you throw in some hateful parent,
Yeah.
and it's like they don't think about what the toll that you just put on me from whatever, like the yelling and screaming, like that affects me, and it just like I go back to think, I'm like, you have no idea what I'm doing for your child.
Right.
Like I am spending so much time. I'm I'm not trying to like not make her successful.
Right.
Like nobody coaches to make some, like come on. But it's really interesting listening to men that coach. Like if it was reversed roles, like how would that be? Like you guys being the stay-at-home dads with your kids.
Oh, I've thought about that a million times.
Scott's never thought about it, but yes, go ahead, Jeff.
I couldn't do it.
I know.
I might have hung myself in the garage, honestly.
Like my wife is in Kearney with some friends right now, and I got to pick the kids up at 5:00, and I hope she's home by 7.
You guys are all the same.
Timer
Well,
has started.
Yeah.
Caitlin, drive fast.
Really fast.
Oh, look at the time! It's bedtime, kids.
Oh, it's still light out and only 6:15? Too bad.
Matt, get in bed.
Okay, area listeners also, these two men, they are married, so they're not single, and they both have children. Both have two?
Yes.
They lucked out boy girl, just like you.
Yeah, look at that. Yeah. And I'm done. I don't know about y'all, but good luck.
But they both have one of each.
Yeah. Oh, Scott?
I told Jake how to fix that, but
Yeah, well.
Are you still thinking about a third?
hell no.
Oh, no
No.
comment. I think all men are the same because, like, if I'm gone on a trip, Clay will be like, dropped them off at your parents, couldn't do it, or whatever. The ones at the fire station. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Is there one child you could be like, okay, if you took this one, I'll be okay with the other one?
Well, yeah, right now, my son Mac, he's 5. He does everything with me, and he's all boy. He wants to be outside. He wants to be golfing. He wants to be running through the sprinklers. I mean, it doesn't matter. He just wants to be playing something, and he's fine. I mean, I can manage him just fine. But Lyndon, she just turned 2 in April, and she rules the roost. I mean, and she is something else. That's for sure.
I feel like our families are very similar because I was gone for a day and then was coming back and going on a girls' trip, and Clay was with our children for like 12 hours. Of course, you guys count this. And he's like, you can't leave that last one. She's going to have to go with you. Or she's going to the fire station. And that's what Tripp tells her now, too. It'll be like, if you keep acting like that, you're going to go live at the fire station. What about you, Scott? You close with any of your children?
Yeah, I mean, I would say I'm probably equally close to both of my kids. Mainly just because in the summer I don't really do anything. Well, absolutely nothing if you ask my wife again. But I coach both of them, so we get that bonding. They both like to fish, so we fish in the summer and do those type of things. But yeah, I suppose if you had to, only because Hayden won't sit long enough to be this far into the podcast to hear it, but probably me and Haley, that father-daughter bond is usually a little bit stronger than the father-son. But
is there anything better though than being a parent? I mean, I'm sure being a grandparent at some point is going to be way better.
A parent, but
like,
nope.
Oh, boy. I'm glad everyone put their kids out of the car.
Why are you so red right now?
I don't know. Well, the room's warm. That's why.
Oh, my God.
it's only up to 86.
No, parenting is good.
I would like to say, since we've been talking about coaching and stuff, thinking about being a parent right now, you can really tell what parents spend time with their children, no matter what sport it is.
Amen.
And that, if you're not doing anything else, at least be doing that. Playing catch with them, bumping a volleyball, rolling them a ground ball, and it only has to be for 10 minutes. I have a thing with Mac right now. Do I want him to play baseball? Yeah, because that's what Dad did, and he loves it already. But, I have a deal with him that he'll want to play catch or he'll want to hit off a tee or want me to pitch to him. But when he's done, I'm done. So that could be 5 minutes, that could be 20 minutes, but when he says I'm done, I'm A-okay with it. And same thing golfing-wise. I'll take him golfing, just him and I, and he might make it through 6 holes, he might make it through 9 holes. But when he's done, I'm done. Because I don't want him to get burned out. I want him to love it and keep coming back. And, you can't get that time back. Yeah. And just those little things are going to make your kids more athletic in the future if they want to go in those directions. And I've always said, too, if he doesn't play baseball, okay. If he wants to be in journalism, I'll support him. Nothing against journalism, just trying to pick different areas for him to go in. Just support your kids as much as you can and don't try to live your own life through them. 100%. So.
For sure.
That's good. Yeah.
Well, along with what you're saying, Jeff, kids, I feel like when you're introducing them to sports, it's not just for their like high school career or for them to play college. It's hopefully for them to have an active lifestyle.
Yeah.
For when they do go out, don't you guys both play intramurals? Or did you guys play softball?
Intramurals?
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
like
Is
such-
old
junior
person's
high or-
league.
Like-
Old person. I don't
yeah,
know.
like
Slow
what's
pitch
it-
softball?
Yeah, isn't that what's it
Lena
called?
does that at the nursing home.
Well, yeah,
So we're
we
just-
play bingo too, but that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about. Don't you play like slow pitch? Are you on a softball team? There.
Yes.
Yes.
What do you
And we
call that?
golf.
Oh, who's
and,
on
I mean,
your
we do-
team? I'm just curious. I don't play that sport.
Do they
It's tough.
need anybody else?
Yeah.
No,
you
we're
sub?
pretty full.
That's not very
That's
nice.
not what we meant. I meant you just act like you're the team. That's what I meant.
Yeah, I'm just curious. Who's
I'm
on
trying
your
to be
team?
recruited.
Oh, are you guys on the MCC alumni golf tournament?
I'm gonna be at the Niobrara sipping on some beverages, so I'm not gonna be playing this year. But look for me next year.
Okay, continue.
I will also be like Mac. I will probably play 6 or 9 holes, but yes, we are registered and going to play.
Who's on your team?
I can't disclose that information.
Nice. Okay, sorry. Where were we?
We didn't want
Did you find a team, Kobza? You need to find a team.
I just wanted to coach.
Lena?
I just wanted to coach a team.
We actually still need somebody on our team. We only have 3 right now.
Somebody asked me, and they're like, "Do you golf?" And I said, "I drink." And she was like, "Perfect. You can be on my team." I was like, "Who is this, by the way?" Did I have her number? I don't golf.
I don't remember what the
I just
question
hit the
was,
ball
but
really
anyway.
hard and very far, no direction,
No idea where it's going.
no idea.
Perfect.
And
You'll
I'll be
fit
like,
right in.
did somebody see where that went? That's me.
The question was, we are just talking about like not always are kids going to play something that they
Yeah.
like. Not every kid that plays t-ball is going to play baseball later on, or play Legion, or play softball. But it's more about like when you're an adult, like things that can keep you active, or when you move somewhere, you can get meeting people.
Yeah.
And it doesn't all have to be about like being the best athlete ever. Who or can you think about a time like you had an athlete that just wasn't? Do you have to try out for Legion?
Yes.
So there's some kids that don't make it anyway.
Correct.
So you've already picked through. So that's different then, I guess, because you didn't probably get an athlete that's just like, okay, maybe you're not ever going to play baseball. Ever.
You know, we did, though. Like, one that sticks out to me is Andy Brunswick was a kid that came, tried out. I mean, and he would admit this. So terrible baseball player. So again, we cut him, but again, it was more. It wasn't even so much for him about actually playing baseball. He just wanted to be around the group of guys. So we asked him to stay on and kind of just be the statistician, and he kind of kept Game Changer going for us and kept book and did any of the other odds and ends that we wanted him to do, and gave him a uniform. And I mean, he was happy. He didn't miss anything. He came to every practice. He's at every game. Went to all the tournaments with us. I mean, so yeah, I mean, it's one of those examples that you are few and far between, but you wish every kid could hear that story. Because again, there's something to be said about that too. And I mean, I was that kid, and to be honest, in high school, I did the same thing. In basketball, I was never a good basketball player. I played basketball in junior high. We had good basketball teams when I was in high school, and I knew I wasn't going to get to play, but I still kind of wanted to be a part of it because a lot of my friends were part of the basketball team. So I talked to Coach Heiser, and he said, yeah, well, which is funny, and this is serious too. We were called SACs, student assistant coaches, and there was 3 of us.
So fitting.
Yeah.
So fitting.
And again, we had our own little office, kind of, back by the girls' locker room.
Of course. How come?
There was no windows. We did install only 1 video camera, so it was okay. But no, I'm just kidding. We did not do that. But the 3 of us had a blast going to all the basketball stuff and just being a part of it. And again, those are times that I wouldn't trade for anything. And I would, going back, it was a lot of fun.
If I was to ask both of you, like start off a question like,
True.
No,
See,
stop. Oh my gosh, have you ever had a
just fill in the
player?
blank like earlier.
Who is this person?
Yeah, you.
If I was just to mention, have you ever had a player? Like, who's the first player that comes to your mind? Like, it's just the beginning of that and why?
For me, like coaching wise.
Yeah, just like if somebody was if I just said player, like who's the first kid that comes to your mind and why?
That's a good
Probably
question.
for me, probably Canberry. For me,
Okay. And why?
just because
Who is this person?
Canberry was a kid that played here in McCook. I mean, and I have so many kids that even in Kearney.
Oh,
and
I
stuff
know.
Too,
Yeah,
but
so many.
Canberry is probably top 5 kid that I've coached and taught. in the public schools. I mean, he was your typical. He was a starting quarterback. He played center field for us. He was a stud track athlete. But what I loved so much about Cam is he was so humbling, and like he made everybody else better on our team, and he was just so likable, and so coachable too. Like you could chew his ass about something, and he would just wear it, and he would trot back out to center field, and he would track a ball down in the gap that you thought there was no way that was going to happen. So again, aside from being a really, really good athlete,
Good kid.
great kid, like great kid, would do anything you told him to do. Yes, sir. No, sir. I'll fix it, sir. Like one of those kids. I'd coach a million of those kids, 100%.
What about you, Scott?
I don't really have one that sticks out. I mean, as far as like
That's not
there's three names that come to mind. I mean, obviously, other than Cam, because Cam was the same for me. I know Jeff probably knew him and coached him longer than I did, as he had him as a younger player and athlete too, and through school and whatnot. But when I think about baseball wise, and you say player, Caden Sitzman would be one of them. Clayton Stevens and Cole Peters. We're all three kids that, again, same thing. You could ask them to do anything, maybe run through that wall right there, and they'd do it for you. And, you know, you didn't have any complaints, nothing. They just put their head down. They worked. They wanted to get better. And they wanted to be the best they could be. Again, for me, it was at baseball. And primarily those were the sports those three were excelled at. But, yeah, those are the three that stand out in addition to Cam, because Cam was he's the easy answer for both of us for number one. And again, because he played all the other sports too. So when you say player, like he played everything and was good at everything.
Is that a small percentage of players? Like when you say a name like Cam,
Like
is that
an elite.
well, just like the level of discipline, dedication, willingness to work.
Yeah, because it goes back to parenting. 100%, it goes back to parenting. Whether it's mom, dad, grandma, grandpa, like who raised them, you know?
See, and that's, I guess, when you said, like, being a parent is, like, it is the coolest thing in the world. Like, I never, and everyone's always like, you changed your coaching when you became a parent. And I'm like, I did. And I, like, thinking about it, when you become a parent, like, it's just like every player I have now, like, they're somebody's child.
Yeah.
And so, like, I want to make sure that I'm doing the absolute best for them, because I couldn't stand a coach, like, ruining that love for my child. So then on that note, it scares me a little bit having kids, seeing some parents, because I'm like, oh my gosh, like, if these are their parents and my kids are going to be with these children for the rest, like, of their school life, like, is that going to affect them, or is it really just like how we act in our household? I don't know.
I think it's a two-way street too.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I completely agree with you. Like, it's you want to do everything for them, but like you have to also get that athlete to like buy into everything as well. And once you do that and everything blends, like then it's like you both have each other's back in whatever situation it is, and you can chew their ass, and you know they'll take it, and then after the game, like, it's fine.
Yeah,
you know,
because like at the end of the day, it's like, you're still my mom, but
Yeah.
you're still my coach, and I'm gonna be back behind you
Right.
100%.
I would say, like, to go back to that question, because he said Clayton Stevens. Clayton Stevens is a kid that, like, was not elite compared to Cam Berry in terms of, like, multi-sport. Like, Clayton Stevens is a kid that was this big growing up, and he's a prime example of a kid that bought into everything. Didn't know how to throw a changeup when he was a junior in high school. Taught him how to throw a changeup, and like he became what Caden Sitzman was the previous 2-3 years that we had him. Like Clayton 100% like stepped into that role, and like he wanted the effing ball in the situation, in the big games. Like, give me the ball, I'm gonna shut him down. He came in that Bennington game. We had a kid named Trey Cutter. He threw an absolute gem. Obviously, if you're winning 1-0, he did a pretty good job. But Clayton came in the final inning, like the biggest stage, the most pressure. got 3 outs, and he was just a bulldog. That's the type of kids that you have to have. And when they really buy in, man, they will run through a brick wall for you. So, but I have so many kids, though. I mean, we could talk about this all day. Like, one special team that I have, we were 52-7 for the summer in Kearney. We won state. We beat Omaha Skutt in the state finals. Then we went on to the regional tournament, which actually was in Blair that year. It just happened to be there, and we've faced teams from Texas, Nevada, Missouri, and we ended up getting runner-up in that too. But like, that team was so special because we had 13 kids that completely bought in and would run through a brick wall for you. And when you get that many kids, sky's the limit. I don't care if it's in Kearney, McCook, it don't matter where it's at. Like, at any given time, like, you can really do some damage in whatever sport it is. And that doesn't happen all the time. Usually you only have 1, 2, 3 of those kids, you know?
Right.
So.
Well, Lena, what else do we have to ask these men? Or should we close
False.
them out? Oh, or should we close them out with some fun, random
I
questions?
think we'll have to close them out. But I think also what you guys were both talking about with parenting and the people our kids are going to be around. My girls know that if they see Scott or Jeff Smalley and they're not acting in a way that they... Scott,
Jeff Holthus.
Well, what'd I say?
Hold the
Scott
H.
Or, oh,
I don't know.
You
Did I
said
mess it
Jeff
up?
Smalley.
What's in that you're
I
drinking
said
again?
Scott or... Did I?
Scott or
botch
Jeff
it?
Smalley?
I don't know.
I might have.
was
That's what you
talking to
said.
Kayla
Jeff
the other day, though.
Holthus and Scott Smalley.
Yeah.
That my kid, like, they're
Scott
going to get
Smalley.
corrected.
Yeah.
Lena's on
These-
heat stroke alert.
Yeah, it is. That is true. Oh, you were actually recognizing it now.
Yeah.
After you had an
I had
athlete
an
go
athlete
down
do
in the
that.
dugout and then
Yes.
go to the ER, you're more aware
Are
of
you
heat
trying
stroke.
to prove something
Yeah.
in
Well, I
here
think-
with this sauna?
Yes, I think there needs
Okay.
to be an awareness. I literally punched him so hard after finding that out. I was like, "What were you doing?" 109 degrees.
Oh, I heard about this.
Yes.
Practice.
Of
Yeah.
course, you heard about it.
And we
Everybody's
won
heard about
both
it.
games.
Oh, yeah.
Not the player in the ER.
She was doing fine.
Was it your daughter?
Says Doc Smalley.
No.
No, he's a vet. He's not a doc.
Oh, have you seen Luna? He needs to work on his vet skills too.
Because he dog
Diet.
sat.
Luna needs to be on a diet.
Yeah.
He dog sat for me.
Or
and
a
I was like,
hook.
this puppy's not eating.
He
and
didn't. Hayden
no.
did.
Oh, well.
Hayden.
No.
Scott came up to me when I went to pick the dog up, and it had this like little Ziploc bag. He's like, "Hey, the dog puked up this." He's like, "I'm not a vet or anything, but I don't know. You should be."
Yeah, he said, I'm not a vet or anything, but I am a doctor when it comes to heat stroke and softball and girls
Exactly.
that are crying. But no, like,
That was only the second athlete that I had go to the ER. Nick Fuchuk lacerated his kidney in a district tournament once and broke a bow. That was super sweet.
Were you guys with each other?
No.
Then?
He
I
was white as a ghost.
How did he
when I
do
got back
that?
to the dugout?
What
Well,
happened?
actually, Caden Sitzman was playing short, and he was playing center, and they collided out behind second base, and he thought he just knocked the wind out of him. So, literally, my words to him when I got there was like, "You're fine, you pussy. Get up."
oh,
He goes, "Yeah, I think I just knocked the wind out of me." You know, we get him to the dugout, whatever. Finish the inning, go back, and he is as white as a sheet. And I'm like, we probably better do something with this kid. And I actually life flighted him out of there.
oh my gosh.
And took him to Lincoln after. I made it to the hospital before they life flighted him. Thank goodness. We finished the game. And
Good
So
job.
were
Oh,
those
oh,
words
yeah,
so
that
that
you
was,
told
I mean,
him?
again, just being a great coach. I mean,
Yeah,
what do you
oh, yeah,
expect?
yeah.
Did those words come back and his parents were like, "Hey, next time"?
Oh, and I do have the other medical experience. Same thing. It's something about broken bow. We had a kid chip his tooth on a ground ball, and we put it in milk right away. Knocked it completely out, you know?
What?
And
like
that,
the
that
whole
saves
tooth.
it. Yeah. And
So
then,
it wasn't shit.
To
well,
put it in
sorry,
milk?
it knocked it out.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, it does save it. Yeah. That's a old wives' tale.
What are you, a dentist,
Some
Lena?
assistant,
Oh.
dental assistant.
Turns out it doesn't really matter because it didn't really save it, but we tried.
That's
Look
a
at
sad
that.
story.
Look at that.
Must need whole milk. I don't know. I think it had 2%. That's all it had.
Somebody actually
Stands.
drank the cup of milk.
Straight out.
Yeah, Mendenhall drank that on the way out.
Oh, God. If there's one thing you could say to somebody going into coaching, what would it be?
Don't.
Oh, my, Scott.
What? Oh, what?
This whole podcast
I
is
didn't think we were
coaching.
live
Say
anymore.
one word.
Yeah.
Oh.
Lord.
I would say get ready.
There we go. I'm gonna write that down.
Because you know when Scott and I got out of the baseball deal 2 years ago, like we had a lot of some good young coaches, you know. Caden Sitzman, Seth Duggar, James Mockery was floating it around. Who else? Am I forgetting somebody?
Not at that time, no. I think that's pretty much most of them.
Anyway, like, we had a bunch of good young coaches that were going to step into those roles, and like the same thing that I told them, like, it was important for them to step into those roles by themselves and not like an assistant with like one of us, because like as an assistant you don't have to deal with all that stuff, and you need to deal with parent issues and player issues and players being gone and you not having enough players this day to play. Like, you have to deal with that to really figure out the whole coaching deal. So I say get ready would be my biggest thing.
Scott, can you?
I think legitimately, probably, if I had to give them any advice other than along the lines of getting ready, is always be prepared, be organized, and don't take shit personal. Like, so many times, especially for younger coaches, when they have parent issues or things arise, like, they immediately want to take it personal. Like, you've just got to let it roll off your back, not even think about it twice. And you made the decision because you thought that was the right decision at the time. And you can't go back and change it anyway. So who cares? And, right, wrong, or indifferent. Because, again, we're all coaches. We're all human. We all made mistakes. Maybe you did make the wrong decision. But own it. Move on. Don't take it personal or you're going to drive yourself crazy.
And we're at time we need to be wrapping up, but what would you also say to parents? If you could give them any advice.
Oh, I got a perfect one for this.
Keep it.
Because I just literally told Hayden's 9 and under felling parents this in the beginning of the year, is because every parent wants to help even at that age, too. But my thing to them was, you don't go sit in a classroom at school with your kid. I don't need you on the baseball field. I don't need you in my ear. I don't need you anywhere close to the dugout. If they need you, they'll come find you. Parents legitimately, they need, I guess to sum it all up, parents need to be parents, not coaches.
Like, when did that start? Can you guys help me with any of that? Like, when did parents start going to practices? Like, don't you have anything better to do? Like, go to Walmart for 2 hours. I don't, like, seriously.
Go lick windows.
What I will do when my kids are gone, I'll be like,
Oh my God.
see ya.
It's
Cubs
literally,
will be golfing.
for me, it was like daycare. If I wasn't coaching it, I was like, see ya, I'm out. Like, but then sometimes you get reeled in with things, like when you're talking about game changer. And so then sometimes a parent's needed for certain things. But otherwise, yeah, go sit somewhere. Bring the snacks.
Yeah.
No snacks.
Oh, yeah, no, bring the snacks.
No snacks.
No, not in the dugout, but bring the beep snacks.
Yeah.
You don't get looking like this from people not bringing snacks, okay? So bring the snacks.
I'll be bringing the Red Mint. It's my new
Boom.
it's my new diet plan.
Sponsor?
They're out at Casey's. I just bought the box.
Oh boy.
Thank
Okay.
you guys so much.
Oh, hold on. I have one more question.
Oh.
So much for closing up.
Yep.
Stop. I love how close we are when we do this.
Yeah, I know.
I don't. So can we hurry
Boy,
up?
you guys are real close.
Say one nice thing about your wife.
Can we pause it here? I'm going to have to do some thinking.
You stop that because you know that she's probably listening.
I would say, probably more than anything, just thank you. Because, again, she had to raise our kids, and it's all those hours we talked about earlier that
Bless you.
it wasn't easy. And that's the thing as a coach, when you're in it and you're gone and you're not dealing with it, you kind of take that for granted. And, again, there's a lot of things that's gone on in my life because of that and me being gone and everything else that, I regret some of that and not being available. But now I am, and you got to right all the wrongs. And so I appreciate all the time that she spent basically raising my kids while I'm away.
Is it Jeffrey?
Yes.
Okay, Jeffrey, your turn.
It's pretty easy. I basically just say what Scott said. No, seriously though, like, I don't know. Just that I love you. She's.
Okay, I'm taking this back. I feel like Jeff is like probably the best gift giver, and because when he was like, "Isn't parent being the most lovely thing ever?" and I'm like, "Oh my gosh, look at you two little teddy bears over there."
They're kind of like good cop, bad cop, but really they have a little bit of both in them.
So are they like on Bad Boys 1? Like
Probably.
one of these is What's his bucket? Okay, sorry. Continue.
Anyway.
Continue.
I mean, that's it.
That's it.
That's it. I mean, I love you, and I guess thanks for the support, because that's the other side of it too. Like, and Kobza and Lena, too, like, if you're coaching something, your support from your spouse is huge, and understanding of practices and the time and just compensating, I guess, giving up time for others, for something that we all have a passion for, is to teach others, and understanding that that it does take, if you want to coach and you want to coach the right way, it takes a lot of time. A lot of time, a lot of effort, a lot of, there's been plenty of arguments with my wife about practices, especially early on. When we first moved here, keep in mind, I was born and raised in McCook, so I knew everybody, Here comes Caitlin from Omaha, Nebraska to 8,000 McCook. She doesn't know anybody. And at that time, we were living in an apartment, and I was gone constantly for football. Constantly. And she just, there was some huge verbal blow-ups with us that over time we got it figured out, and I tried to make some changes too, and for our health and our relationship as well, and it worked out. And again, so I just say I love you and thank you for the commitment towards my coaching passion.
I just have so many. Okay,
He
finger,
he
go.
did finger.
Well, for both of our wives, we probably need to make sure just to tell them kind of like what Jeff said about coaches. Same thing for wives. Get ready, because it was over.
Oh God!
But Hayden is 9, so it won't be that many more years, and we'll probably be, now that our kids are getting older, we'll be right back in it. So
Yeah, that's true.
I just have so many questions. I feel like
I think we have to have him back.
I think so.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Nah,
I think so.
Round 2.
Yeah.
Round 2. Yeah.
Get the AC going.
yeah, I was just
Yeah.
saying, we need some AC next time.
You guys are
you're
hot.
fine.
Yeah, it's
And what's it
fine.
like on the
Well, yeah,
golf
you guys
course?
have your shirts off.
Yes.
It is getting a little awkward. Sorry, wives.
Sorry, Jake.
Clay, just put another dip in. It'll be
Jake's
fine.
one probably saying, "I'm sorry." Yeah. Clay's like, "Oh God, she doesn't even do that for me." That was so awesome.
Us now sweating worse.
Okay, well that was a fun episode of Coaching, Caffeine, and Comedy. So tune in next Tuesday. We didn't get to play our fun game of Lena Says, but we'll just bring them back and do that again.
Perfect.
So,
Next time.
Yeah, so again, I'm your host, Haley Kobza.
And your co-host, Lena Coble.